So you can do the intro.
All right, welcome everybody. This is Coffee Time with Julie and Nate once again. This is 15. I can't believe it. We're at 15 now, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm going with a new and improved, possibly, background. We'll see how that goes. And Julie's got the classic bedroom look going again.
I get the bedroom.
So it's good
Ever
to see you
since
again.
COVID, I'm relegated to my bedroom to do my work.
You do a lot of work in the bedroom, though, don't you?
No, it's like where I like to play, actually.
Well, I mean, okay, let's change the word work, but I mean, you
We
do
do
it.
our best work.
There you go.
No, everywhere.
The majority of Julie's skills are most applicable in the bedroom.
Wait, isn't that what you do after, like with a fortune from a Chinese cookie? You add the words "in bed."
I
The
never
end
heard
of
that.
every fortune to make it.
Is that what you do?
That's what I've heard.
Oh, so it's kind of like,
Like you will come into some great awarenesses in bed.
Right.
Never.
Be careful of those who are asking you for money in bed.
There you go. I like that. So,
Nice.
yeah, right before this, one of the people on my team sent me the old recording from 2013 when I was on Voice America with Gary. He did an interview with me, and it was called Conscious Divorce.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And he was like on the breaks, he was like, get to work, write the book. He was like really adamant. Yeah. And one of the titles that I mentioned on that radio interview that I forgot all about was, why couldn't my marriage be as easy as my divorce? Wow. That would have been really funny. But
yeah. Actually, speaking of like the divorce situation, I don't know if you're familiar with comedian Louis C.K., but he talks about how like he has a routine he's like, yeah, I got divorced, and everyone's like, oh, that's so sad. He's like, don't be sad. Like, no happy marriage ever ends in divorce. Like when someone has that happen, you should be happy for them because it's done, it's finished. And then he talks about, I mean, it's really funny, but he talks about how like your divorce never gets weaker, it gets stronger with age. No one's ever like, oh, my divorce is it's like not working out. I'm gonna have to send that to you.
Yeah, he's funny. I like him. Yeah, it's so true. It takes two to make a marriage, and it takes two to make a divorce. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And with the access tools, you can make it just so much easier. Like, it's sort of mind-boggling how much easier it can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if it's not a divorce, if it's just a breakup or something. Yeah. I know lots of people. Do you know lots of people going through breakups during COVID?
It sounds like not as many as you. Do you know quite a few people who are doing that?
I do. Yeah.
Are they mostly Americans?
No.
Oh.
No, but I do know, and I don't know if it's the circumstance, the last straw, whatever, but
right.
COVID seems to have been a pressure cooker for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But, if you're like, I've even been on, just on walks in neighborhoods and stuff, and you hear people talking because they're 6 feet away, they have to project. And they're like, how's it going? And it's like, well, my husband's home and working from home, and that's different. Yeah. You can just tell, like, oh shit, I should not just be scattering, my little books business card all over the place for people.
Do you not have that?
I have them. I just I don't put them out there on,
you should be packing. You should be packing a stack of cards like this deep in your purse every time you go out. Actually, it's pretty common in Korea and China, possibly Japan. but when they want to advertise something, they make business cards with the like the phone number and the service provided and whatever, and they pay guys on scooters to just drive around and throw them into doorways.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that work?
It must, because they keep paying for it. Like they keep paying guys to do it. They keep doing it.
Huh.
Yeah. And at the beginning, I thought it was only prostitution services, which it's like that's in certain certain areas, but it's not only. There'll also be like coupons for like some different restaurants or what have you. Yeah.
I
So
wonder what the laws are around here, because at one point I wanted to just walk around my entire neighborhood, and I was doing, I was hosting a friend of mine. She made beautiful potted succulent gardens, just really nice. And I was doing a showing at my house and having all of her stuff throughout the yard and inside. And we made postcards and stuck them in all the doors in the neighborhood. And one of my friends said that's illegal. Like, she's a real estate person, and she's like, you cannot deliver mail to people's homes without it being. And I was like, but it's not mail. Like, it's just a flyer type of thing.
Right.
So who knows?
Huh. Interesting. So from what you've seen with the COVID breakups happening, like what's going on with that? Like, is it?
You know, it's going to be different for everyone.
Sure.
You know, it's where you got stuck, or where you don't have space for yourself, or what you're realizing. Like, I had a call from somebody in England, and it was just like, okay, it's sort of the the last straw, so to speak. You know, and like, then you're stuck and there's no place to go. And so you're living together, even though you know you want to be in a different situation. And that can create a huge amount of, you know, stress and anger and all kinds of things to create the separation that you can't physically create. And that's why it's so important to have these tools, so that, you know, okay, how can we make the best of this situation? Like, you know, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
We're clear.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like one person wants it and the other person doesn't. And that's also really tricky situation, because the person being left has totally different points of view to look at and get clear on themselves.
So can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, you've had your own experience, and in your experience, it was sort of a mutual, both of us want to leave, or was it your choice and he was like, hey, what's up?
It was definitely my choice. But we both agreed, like, once I brought it up, it was like, wow, it was a relief to address it. And yet he wanted to keep trying to make it work. Like, we tried working it out for a couple of years before it was the last straw. You know, it's not one of those things that you just make a snap decision. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. What was the other question?
Well, you mentioned that it's sometimes different when you're the person who's made the choice to leave versus the person who's being left.
Yeah. Right? Well, I think it takes a huge amount of courage to actually choose to leave.
Okay.
You know, you're the one who's the bad person. And I know for me, I tried to make him leave. You know, like, like, what would it take for him to leave me so I wouldn't be the bad person? And then it's like, okay, you just got to be you, and you got to choose.
What were some of your strategies for doing that?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's like 10 years ago. I don't remember, but I just remember having that thought, like, wow, he's not getting this. I'm going to have to do it. Okay, I'll be the bad one. And that was fine. Yeah, when you're the person being left, it really takes a whole lot of vulnerability to look at it for you and see if it actually really was everything that you wanted, desired. Was it going the way you really enjoyed, or did you sort of want different things? Were you not truly, truly happy? A lot of
Right.
people are in fantasy with relationship.
Okay.
And that's just what we're taught. It's this sort of ideal, you know.
Yeah. Huh.
So they're not actually present with what is. And when they look at what is, they're like, yeah, well, this wasn't so great and that wasn't so great and this bothered me and that bothered me. But I loved him, you know? It's like, well, what was that?
Do you think that a lot of people, when they're sort of in the middle of it, or when they're in the relationship, that they kind of gloss over the issues and focus on the positives in a sense? Like,
Well,
do they ignore the issues and not have that realistic perspective, as you mentioned?
I don't know what people do. Do you know what people do? I mean,
That's a good question.
I think for the most part we're all super distracted by millions of things. If
Right.
it's not keeping up with your Instagram, Facebook, emails, business, all of that stuff, then
Yeah.
you've got all the distractor implants of anger, rage, fury, hate, blame, shame, regret, and guilt, all of those.
Right.
And then there's, movies to catch up on and new restaurants and music to listen to. Like,
And then the
when do you
Netflix series, and
actually like be present with each other?
yeah. And I guess I assume that when kids are involved, it's even more complicated.
Sure, they're a great distraction, and they can be a reason and justification to stay together or not.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very tangled web we weave.
I think, where was I? I saw somebody mentioning you and your book in some other Facebook group or some other WhatsApp or something.
Huh.
Are you doing something coming up? Or someone's just excited about your book? I mean, both are possible.
They're all excited. Yeah, well, yes, I just recorded the audiobook of it.
Really?
I got the file, so it's going to be on Audibles very soon.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's exciting.
It was totally intense. It was like 4.5 hours of reading from my iPad. My eyes were so wigged out. It was really hard to drive home after.
What did you record it on?
I went to a recording studio.
Okay.
And they did it professionally. So I don't know.
So you had like the whole microphone and like the
microphone in a sound
puffer and the sound booth and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Reading it, and like I couldn't see the guy, fortunately. And at the end, it was so interesting because I felt really depleted at the end, and usually I don't.
Right.
And after that, I had my monthly Zoom call, and was talking about something about when you feel depleted, it's because people aren't receiving what you're trying to give them. And I was like, oh my God, that guy who is listening to the whole thing, I don't know what his situation is. He said something about kids, but I don't know if he's married or divorced.
But he had to sit there as his job and listen to the whole thing.
And read to make sure I wasn't missing a word. So like, wow, how much of his world changed. And as soon as I acknowledged that, my body felt better. So I know that there was something in there. But we're also starting tomorrow the 6-step guided transformation, which is it's like a boot camp of sorts of moving through the 6 steps that I outline in the book together as a group to really get awareness of yourself and what you'd like in your life, and how to build your awareness and start to create your lighter and brighter future.
Okay. So 6 steps to greater awareness. Is that it?
Well, the book is Beauty and the Breakups, Six
Right.
Steps to Moving Beyond Your Breakup and Creating
There
Your
you
Lighter
go.
and Brighter Future. But there's a lot of
Okay.
people who are breaking up from this reality or from their old self,
Right.
or, you know, from a family thing or a job, normal life, you know, being in quarantine.
Yeah.
There's a lot to break up from. And if we destroy and uncreate our relationship with our business, with our partners, with our things every day,
Yeah.
there's, you know, it sets you on that create cycle. And there's so much more to it than just saying, okay, I destroy and uncreate my relationship. Like
Right.
there's a whole lot of getting to know ourselves and the energy that we are that takes some deeper work, and that's what this is about.
Cool. So how, like, what's the schedule for this? Is it going to be?
It's 6 Zooms,
Mm,
and it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for an hour each day. So tomorrow starting right around this time. So it's
okay.
good for Europe and good for India and good for the US. Not so great
Hmm.
for you guys.
It's less great for like Eastern Australia,
I,
Japan, and
I
Korea.
do a lot of evening things my time that is great for you
No, no,
guys.
I get it. I get it 100%. Because, like you said, right now, I mean, India and then going west from India, like it's all great for all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we skip to the next week, and it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week as well. So
Okay.
3 steps, you know, have it integrate a bit, and then 3 more steps.
And now you have the audiobook to people can enjoy as well.
I have the audio
And you
book.
read it? You read the audiobook?
I did.
Man, I really want to do something like voice related. And I just, I guess I got to write a book if I want to do my own audiobook because,
Well, there's lots of voiceover, you know,
well,
possibilities. Doesn't have to be your own book, or it could be.
yeah, but I don't have, I mean, I know voice actors in Korea and they have way more range than I do. They have like their little kid voice and their grandpa voice and their like middle-aged woman voice and
Where are your infinite possibilities? You just like, totally with everything that is, everywhere you've taken yourself out of the playing field, will you destroy it and create it?
yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, fun and buckle, nine shirts, boys and young. There's lots of divorce books out there. There's lots of rulers out there. If I didn't do it,
Yeah,
nobody would have my particular voice.
yeah.
And you know, who's looking for your voice, and you know, what does that exactly fit to whatever character or product or whatever that they're trying to.
Anyone with like an erotic novel that they need.
maybe maybe you could find an erotic novel
Ooh. And like
and
send an offer in and be like, hey.
just read it.
Oh, and like let people know how I perform, I guess. Yeah. Gotta get a new microphone.
Wow, the Zoom links are already full on this thing. So Gary's call is um,
What are you looking at?
um, Gary's doing a worldwide call on fracking, the
Oh, okay.
insanity of COVID. I think it's finally time.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to call in.
Okay.
It's
Well,
not
we can
starting.
wrap this up early.
It's not starting until 10, but you have to call in early.
Right. Yeah.
Just
Well, do you remember with the oil spill in the Gulf? He was asking questions every day, and I assume he's been doing the same thing with this. And
yeah,
so now is the time, right?
yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah.
know, I was walking down the street last week and I saw a woman in Korea with a t-shirt that said, "If not now, when?" Like the amount of amazing English on t-shirts here is recently it's been super fun. Like there was a probably woman in her mid 50s walking around exercising with a t-shirt that said, "Just make a woman come for once." Like she has no idea. She has no idea what it says, but it's like just this awesome, yeah. It's just a lot of fun. So, yeah. Anyway, so Gary's doing a fracking call about COVID.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
Well,
means,
like it's not like a big long call. I'm sure it's probably 5 or 10 minutes where he gets everybody to contribute
yeah,
toward, whatever that
one, two,
awareness is.
three, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I'm excited about it because those calls, and especially now when there's hundreds of thousands of access people all over the
So
world,
many.
it's
Yeah, I
like,
know.
holy shit. Like you
Yeah.
can really perceive the ripples
Yeah.
changing all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. So if anybody sees this, where are they going to tune in or listen to the recording or get the recording? This is open to anybody and everybody, right?
I think it's anybody who's ever taken an access class.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not exactly sure. Because it says we would like to request your contribution to changing the COVID-19 pandemic. I love that. So it's just really general and broad.
Yep.
Changing it. Yes, please. Thank you.
Julie's done with masks. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And the fear, like, oh my God, already. Like, seriously?
Yeah.
The other day, I went out to lunch with a friend, and it's all outdoor dining, 6 feet apart, all that. You're walking up with your mask on, and then you take it off, and it's like.
No, I get it.
And then the people next to us get up and leave, and the guy is spraying the table, and all the spray goes in over our food. And I'm like,
no.
okay, now I'm eating that stuff. Dude.
Yeah, that's got to change.
Yeah.
That's not cool. But I mean, also the kind of inconsistencies with a lot of this stuff is you're super careful in some situations, but then in other situations, you're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter, whatever. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to say because I'm not in the States for that situation, but here, yeah, it's interesting for sure to see the way that people follow the rules in some situations, but then you suddenly go out for a drink and like, well, I mean, you have to have a mask on you in case the police stop by, but you don't have to wear it, So, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like people aren't getting the nurturing that their bodies really require. They say when animals and human babies grow, they need to be touched, and it's not just when you're a baby. Hello.
Right. Yeah, I know. I get it.
Like we need to be touched.
I know. I had my bars done this morning. It was so nice. So good to get my bars done. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, you're getting your bars done.
I am not as often as I would like. Not as often.
All right. Well, you get on the fracking call and change it, and I'll stop by and do your bars.
Yes. They just changed certified facilitators to be an online only, so we're not going to Costa Rica.
End of September, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a sense of that. So, it's just, oh, cool. Acknowledge the awareness. And what can we be or do to change it?
What can we do to change this so that Maestro is not online and like Australia is not online and like, ugh. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be so good. And how many people have you talked to in the last month that I've talked to who are like, man, I'd love to see you. What would it take to just give you a hug or have a bars swap or a body process, And I see people doing things on Facebook, body process classes, and I'm just like, I really want to be doing that. I want to be with those people. I want to like be there. So yeah, what would it take to change that?
Yeah, totally. And not feel like a pawn in the government's big whatever they're doing. Seriously, I'd like to get on with it already.
Yeah. Me too. All right. Well, Gary's calls in a couple minutes. Are you logged on, or you got any place for it?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that might have been one of the distractions. I don't think we had a lot of people tune in today, but if you're watching the recording, we would love to have you send a question in. We'd love to chat with you. So Coffee Time with Julie and Nate, it's posted on YouTube. It's on Facebook. Chat in the Facebook group. We'd love to chat with you there. And we will be here a week from right now as well. So anyway, thank you very much, and have a great week.
Bye, Nate. Talk to you soon.
Bye, Julie. Yep, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.